Hey there, remember us? It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. I'm Felix.
And I'm Cindy.
We are the Roaming Gomes. This week we're going to talk about the things we miss from some of the long-term places we've stayed. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel after a while. We've stayed in, what is it, 9 now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9 long-term parks. As you know, Cindy's a travel nurse, and we follow her contracts across the country. What we want to talk about is the things we miss from some of those parks, that if all of those things were put in one place,
It would be ideal.
it would be ideal, and we would probably end up staying there. So, our first long-term stay, your first contract, was in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I look back now and think, why did we choose Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I have no idea. And
From eastern North Carolina to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I know we both thought that somehow or another it was going to be warmer.
Yeah.
We were wrong.
Yeah. It was November.
Yeah.
October, November.
October. We got there. We actually got there on Halloween
Yeah,
Day.
we did.
And it was not a pleasant place. Weather-wise, anyway. But I can say that the one thing that I do miss from there is there was a state park that actually Cindy took me to on my birthday. And it's probably my favorite state park to date. The place was beautiful. And I will show you some pictures of it right now, but how about you?
Yeah, that was, I had forgotten about that, but that was a nice place. We weren't really crazy about the RV park itself.
No, as a matter of fact, it's listed as our second worst RV park.
Now that we have some to compare it to, but that was all we knew then. But probably me personally, I really enjoyed the unit that I worked on at the hospital. And the people I worked with were it was my first experience with being a travel nurse, so it was a pleasant experience. It was a good experience, and I learned a lot while I was there, and it was a good place to work. Wouldn't want to go back unless that unit was somewhere else, because Tulsa was not really, it wasn't all that attractive to us. But
And this is what we were talking about. Take it away from there, put it someplace else, and
one highlight was we did get to see friends of ours
yes,
that lived close by.
Yes.
John and Abby came to where we were, and we got to spend some time with them. We hadn't seen them since we left North Carolina, so.
We actually hadn't seen them since they left North Carolina.
That's true, they left before
which
we
they
did.
left right before we did. Little known fact, Cindy was the very first travel nurse to ever be employed at that hospital.
Yeah, which is weird.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, in 2020, they had plenty of travel nurses.
Oh, yeah. Our next long-term stay was in Las Cruces, New Mexico.
Now, that park was light years away from the one in Tulsa.
Yeah, not the top one, but it was a nice park.
Yeah.
That I really, really wish they'd have taken out those pickleball courts and put in a pool.
Oh, yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah. But nice RV park. What I miss from there is all of the hiking opportunities. There was Soledad Canyon. There was a place called Veterans Park. I could literally go there in the morning, just go for a nice little hike, and be home by 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
It was everything was right there as far as parks and hiking opportunities.
And we could see the Oregon mountains
Oh,
from
yeah.
our spot.
Yeah.
And that was a little mind-blowing from somebody who's been in North Carolina where everything is flat.
Yeah.
So
And
it was beautiful.
New York, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, where the mountains they have in Pennsylvania are pretty much would be called hills out here.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you miss from there?
I love the park. It was nice, very well kept park. Great dog park.
Yeah.
And it was in the city of Las Cruces, but it didn't seem like a city. It was more secluded. The way they had it set up, it was more secluded, so you didn't feel like you were right in a city, but you were in close vicinity to anything that you needed. So Walmart was right down the road, grocery store right down the road. Lots of really good restaurants. We got our first taste of real Mexican
genuine
food.
Mexican. And the place was called, what was it, Pepe's?
Pepe's? I think.
Pepe's. And it was literally, we walked to the restaurant. It was within 100 yards of the RV park. And that was homemade, real Mexican food.
The lady who waited on your table was the family people who owned the restaurant.
Yes.
They did the cooking. She waited on the table, so it was some delicious Mexican food.
Yeah, I was recently pleased to find out that they made it through COVID, because they were a pretty small restaurant. They made it through COVID, and they're still in business. So we're only going to do Tucson once, because that's where we are right now.
We've been here 3 times?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to let Cindy start this one off.
Wow.
When we were away from Tucson, what did you miss about here?
Sunshine. Lots of sunshine. I don't do well in cloudy, rainy places. So prior to our second trip here, we were in Pennsylvania in the spring, and it rained almost continuously.
Almost daily.
And it was very cloudy. So when we drove this way and we ended up coming through New Mexico and the sun was shining and we got to Tucson and it shines almost all the time, I was a happy camper then. I do like the weather except in the summer. I do like the park. Another thing that I like is that there's a really complex and widespread biking trail, the loop, that goes all the way around Tucson. I haven't done the whole loop, but
I don't neither. I don't think we ever will.
but it gives you opportunity if you want to get out and see things you can. And Tucson as a city is spread out. It's not like skyscrapers, because they don't allow skyscrapers because they are very adamant about preserving the views. There's mountains all around. There's all kinds of things to see that are just natural occurrences, and they are very protective of that, which I'm grateful for. Everything has to be kind of low so you can see all the views. So as a city, Tucson, if you're going to live in a city, Tucson is one that I would prefer to be in.
And for me, not when I wasn't here, I missed the wildlife. Now, I don't know if you all know this, but I can pretty much tell you that if I'm out in nature, and I die out in nature, my last words are going to be probably to a mountain lion going, "Here, kitty, kitty." Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of dumb in terms of my interactions with wildlife.
You could say brave.
Okay, brave. But I mean, the coyotes that come through here, they've come within 2-3 feet of me and just walk by. Bucky recently had an incident where he almost came nose to nose with a javelina. In case you don't know what that is, I'll show you a picture of it. It's, for all intents and purposes, the desert's version of a wild boar, but small. It went without incident. There was really no interaction between the two of them. I yelled, and the javelina ran away. But, yeah, so that's what I missed. I missed having that regular interaction with wildlife.
And the owls.
Oh, the owls. Yeah, we've got, I think we might have 2 pair this year. They come here every year to this park. And it's kind of become like a sport of the people that are in the park regularly, to find which tree they've decided to occupy that year. So, next one. And I think you might miss more from this place than I do. Tifton, Georgia.
Yeah, it was a KOA
Yeah, KOA Journey.
And it was very nice. It was green grass. That's the only thing I miss while I'm in Arizona is green grass. Green
Which we
trees.
got that in one of the ones coming up.
Yeah. But, so it was in Georgia, so it had the usual trees and things that you see in Georgia in the South. There was, it was basically a pecan grove in the park.
Yeah.
We got to see them shake the tree with the machine and get the pecans down. We say pecan in North Carolina.
And they used to sell those in the gift shop. They would gather them up and put them in bags.
And behind, oh, still on the property, but behind where the RVs were parked was a walking trail around 2 ponds. So that was a nice thing that we could just do without even getting in the car. We could go walk on those trails. So I just missed that atmosphere, the environment of being in Georgia. And also it was close to Tifton, which was a small town city, and had anything that you needed, but we weren't in the city. It was just a short drive down the interstate and there we were. So, Bucky.
The star of our show has arrived. You're a little late for the shoot, bud.
You know it? Okay.
For me, I don't miss a whole lot from Tifton. The nearest real outdoor opportunity was quite a while away. Probably took me close to an hour to get there, and then there really weren't any camping opportunities there. It was just, what I miss is the park, like Cindy said. So green and nice and well kept. And
the staff was good.
The staff was nice.
They actually, in the office, had a little kitchen where they did breakfast, and you could order pizzas from them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And if you look at how we ranked the RV parks, our top 3 or worst 3 in this video, Tifton KOA comes out on top. Now after Tifton,
dun, dun, dun.
we went to Smyrna, Tennessee, to the opposite of the best RV park, the absolute worst RV park we've stayed in, period. Okay, and so yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss the RV park at all.
The only one good thing about it was they had a nice pool.
They had a decent pool. They did.
They did. It was fenced in and pretty nice and well kept.
And we were able to have Cindy's kids over at the pool. But the one thing that I do miss about the area is the abundance of outdoor opportunities. I went out on a trail that I took my backpack and my tent, and I stayed out there for 3 days and hiked out to the campgrounds, hiked back, and it was great. There were numerous campgrounds that you could just go to and set up. There were numerous trails of varying lengths and difficulty. Too many for me to actually see in the 3 months that we were there. Or 6 months that we were there. I don't remember. Yeah. So yeah, that I miss.
And this was smack in the middle of COVID.
Uh-huh.
So, I don't miss that part.
No.
I did work with some really great people. The hospital was, it was a pretty good hospital. It wasn't like tip top or anything, but I worked with some great people, and everybody, I guess because of COVID, everybody really pulled together and was able to get through it. And of course, the thing that I loved the most about being there was all 5 of my children at that time were living in or around Nashville. And Smyrna is just a little hop, skip, and a jump down the highway from Nashville. And you may ask why we didn't stay in a park in Nashville, since that park was not very attractive. Because the ones in Nashville are exorbitantly priced and not a lot to look at.
They're parking lots.
Yeah. And it's very much geared towards the Music City tourists. And it's just a place to park your rig, go to Nashville, do your thing, come back home and sleep. So it's not meant for going there and enjoying the park, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And the prices were unreal. So we were not going to stay there. So, but I got a contract at this smaller hospital in Smyrna, so that's where we stayed. But it was really great to be able to see my kids and grandkids, and one of my daughters brought her daughter, and we played in the pool a couple of times. That was really great. It was nice to be able to see them and be able to just drive in less than an hour, excuse me, to see any of my kids.
And then we went to Charlotte, North Carolina. And we were actually staying in Fort Lee.
I can't remember the name of the place.
We were actually staying just over the border in South Carolina. And by just over the border, I mean like you could walk to North Carolina and Charlotte in 5 minutes. But the only thing that I miss about that place is the woods that surrounded the RV park. Other than that, there was really nothing special about that stay.
The park was nice.
It's middle of the road. It was.
Yeah. It was okay, and the people that staffed it were nice. And I mean, it had what we needed at the time.
Yeah.
It had brand new laundry and
laundry facility,
yeah,
laundry and
showers,
bathroom facilities. Yeah.
Yeah, that was brand new, but it was okay.
And there was there was really nothing around to do.
Yeah, not a
you
lot.
know, unless you wanted to go into the city of Charlotte, and we're not nightlifers, you know.
We're not exactly city people, period.
No, not at all. But then after Charlotte, we headed to Rio Rancho, New Mexico, so that Cindy could do a contract in Albuquerque. I will warn you ahead of time. That was not a contract that Cindy liked.
No. Anybody who's worked at that hospital at University of New Mexico Medical Center will tell you it's difficult. The ER is a nightmare. I'm glad I didn't work there. But even the units that I worked on New Mexico is one of the poorest states in the United States. They don't have a lot of resources for people, and especially for mental health or addiction. And so we ended up not a lot of long-term care facilities for elderly people. So we ended up with a lot of people who stayed literally months in the hospital because there was nowhere else for them to go. So it was difficult. Very, very sick people and very difficult mental health issues to deal with. And I learned a lot, and learned that I don't want to work in Albuquerque again. But
and the area surrounding the hospital, Albuquerque itself, the city, there's a lot of crime.
Yeah.
And
not very safe at all.
And it's not a very well kept city.
But where we stayed was wonderful.
Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Yeah.
Which was about a half-hour ride?
Yep.
To the hospital. And that was beautiful. I mean, right from the RV park, we were able to watch the entire balloon fest.
Which was great. I would much rather watch it from the RV park and see all the beautiful balloons than to get down in that traffic.
Yeah.
For the balloon fest.
And there were these bosques. Bosque? Is that how you're supposed to say it?
I'm not sure.
And
it's Bosque.
Right. And they were so pretty. They were right on the Rio Grande. And I was able to go fishing down there. I did some hiking down there along the river. Just a really, really pretty place. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, Rio Rancho itself was pretty nice.
Mm-hmm. They had some good restaurants. They had some good shopping areas and stuff. So it was a good place to stay, especially not having to stay in Albuquerque. That would have been.
I think that would have been you cutting your contract short.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant place, but people are people, and you got to take care of them. So, I worked with some great people that I worked with. My coworkers were great. We all pulled together, but it was a difficult population to work with.
And then we came back to Tucson. So we're not going to get back into that. But then we went to Cottonwood. And I'm going to talk for me. For me, Cottonwood was my favorite long-term stay. Period. Bar none. Despite the RV parks elsewhere that were much better. Cottonwood is just, it's like a whole new world.
It is, 25 minutes from Sedona.
Right.
And Sedona is, as you probably know, very touristy, very expensive, very widely known as a place to go hiking and camping, and it's a very touristy place.
And if you're from around here, you'd also know that Sedona is known for its traffic.
Yes, definitely.
The traffic in the summertime there and in the touristy season is some of the worst traffic I've ever seen. And I grew up in New York.
But Cottonwood is a small town. Smallish. It's small,
Yeah.
but it still has just anything that you'd want. It's the first time I've ever heard Felix say, "This is a place I could settle down."
Yeah.
And I agree, it was very small townish, but you had your Super Walmart, you had any number of grocery stores, you had restaurants out of this world.
The best, honest to God, the best restaurants we've gone to since we've been on the road.
And there's what they call Old Town Cottonwood, which is more of a historical kind of area. I was surprised to find out that there are wineries in Arizona.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it would be a growing place, but there are numerous wineries and wine tasting places and restaurants.
And the one place that was a restaurant in a winery.
Right. On top of a hill.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot to see, a lot to do. Plus, right on the outskirts of the town is actually more than one state park.
Yeah.
And lots of things to do, lots of things to see, and that state park was just beautiful. You could do
Dead Horse Ranch State Park.
You could do any number of things there. There's boating, there's fishing, there's just hiking, walking around, picnic areas. They do have RV spots there.
We used to film some of our videos there.
And the whole area is just very pleasant and the nicest people you will ever see.
100%. I almost felt. What did I say to you? I said, "This can't be real."
He has a reputation for not liking people in general, but Cottonwood kind of changed him on that. He said, "I'm starting to like people. I don't know what's happening here."
Yeah, these were the nicest people that I've ever seen. And when I moved down to the South, I was like, wow, these people are so nice. And it took me a while to figure out that
some of it's kind of surface.
Most of it is. And, it's that sweet Southern charm.
Bless your heart for your concern.
But that is not what I got in Cottonwood. These people were just genuinely nice.
And everybody I worked with was that way. Normally, if I'm on a unit that I work with the same people all the time, there's a few people that I could do without. Really, I can't think of anybody at that hospital. It was a very small hospital, just 89 beds in the whole hospital. So that was a totally different experience for me. But I really liked it. I liked the people. I liked the hospital. I liked pretty much everything about it. And the park we stayed in was nothing to speak of. It was nice. It was clean. It was okay.
It was basic,
Yeah.
is really what it was.
But it was in close proximity to anything.
Yeah.
We could it became a joke that every time we got in the car to go somewhere, put the GPS where we were going, a restaurant or a park or whatever. Oh, we've got 7 whole minutes before we get there. Hope you packed a lunch. it was in close proximity to anything we wanted to do, and 20 minutes from Sedona.
Yeah.
So we got to go to Sedona. That was one of my bucket list things when I lived in North Carolina, was to one day be able to go to Sedona, and I've been several times now. So that's a big plus for me.
Yeah, we vacationed there several times, and when we were in Cottonwood, I just want to go to lunch in Sedona.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're saying is that we could take everything from Cottonwood and carry it with us.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. Except for maybe the RV park. We would take that one from Tifton.
Yeah. I don't think that grass would grow in the pecan trees.
No.
Yeah.
But that's it. And who knows when we're going to put out our next video.
Yep, we've got some plans coming up. I've got 7 more weeks on this contract.
And there's going to be some videos about where we're going next.
And hopefully we'll get something exactly where we want to be.
Yep.
For exactly the amount of money I want to make. and that will be our new favorite place to be.
Exactly. Until we see you again, safe travels.